What is customer experimentation? It's experimenting with segments across that customer file. Just think about all of the data as it relates to your customers in terms of PII and the purchase data that goes alongside that. And how can I optimize my strategy overall to drive either the most revenue or the most profit or a combination of the two based on my business objectives, right? And so that's what, when we refer to contact strategy testing, what are those contact points, those media touch points that we want to give to every single micro segment across our file, so that way we can drive the best business impact. So these questions can be answered with incrementality testing straight away. Okay, so what's the solution that we found really works when it comes to consulting with clients is having a two-pronged approach to the customer analytics practice. So this is having a customer reporting or customer analysis prong, and the second one is customer experimentation or analysis. Is truly just what it sounds like. You're tracking and evaluating the KPIs that are crucial to understanding buying behavior across your house file. This is simply reporting. Let's talk a little bit more about customer segmentation, and it's a way for you to truly benchmark what's happening in customer behavior. And the example on this slide is, I just want to understand what the baseline incrementality is of my house file on Pinterest, Facebook, and Google. So let's pretend that they took a sample of their audience. So they took that 10%, which are these gray guys on the left, and they split them 90-10 into a test group and a control group. So one group is sent to Pinterest, one group to Facebook, one group to Google, for example. Media is applied to those groups, and then we perform a match back. So because we know who's in each group, from here, then brands usually get more and more and more ideas in their head, and they'll want to start developing additional experiments from this. Okay, let's dig into the case study. Okay, so the goal here was to identify the optimal contact strategy for this brand and increase the retention-based revenue. We did design an experiment. They have a pool of about 300,000 customers. We took a 15% sample of that file. From there, we randomly split them into a group that got reach and frequency media on Facebook and a group that got conversion-based objective on Facebook, and we had a control group that got nothing at 10%. So it was 44,000 customers we were testing on. And then each of those individual segments, the 20,000 customers, which is the 45%, were then partitioned by email opt-in status and RFM. So that's the micro segments.
We generate the RFM report, and then you could look at the LTV report, then you could look at the new versus returning report, and then we do something called comparison study. Right, so we are using the tool right now. So we have built this tool where you have these 4 reports that can be generated, right? It's recalculating RFMs for whenever it is processing, right? So if it is processed this week, you get the RFMs. If you're planning for an experiment or if you're trying to do some kind of benchmarking between 2 different periods, then you would go for a snapshot. So normally we do a testing for 30 days. Okay. There's an approach where you can calculate the maturity time frame, right? For a particular window, you can say this is the total number of conversions that I'm getting, right? Like you can simulate an experiment which is your baseline, right? And now you have test conversion rate, control conversion rate. Using this, you can calculate statistical significance, and we'll get into the test only if it is statistically significant. Now you can calculate lift here. This is a simulation, right? This is the reach frequency incremental conversion that we would have got from the whole house file for this particular pocket, right? So now when you sum up all these incremental conversions and incremental revenue, this is your incremental order. Now we are saying if you selectively activate these segments or pockets in either conversion optimized or reach frequency, you could get 25% lift on the conversion side. Like we need to make a projection going into BFCM because they were trying to maximize the revenue that they were getting during this period. So we did not go for a holdout, but what we could do was we could do a similar comparison study, just like how we did for the pre-BFCM period, what happened during BFCM week. So it used to be minus 45% and lapsed entirely was like 35%. It came down to minus 18% and it significantly improved, right? Like earlier lapsed was growing by 0%. And during this period, it grew by 25%. And there were also a lot of growth happening on the new segment from negative, it also came to positive, and the total dollar per customer change for the BFCM week moved from the regular trend of minus 12% to plus 16%.